Hey guys, day 24. Wow, almost through week 5 of our work from home exercises. In some ways it's going very slowly, in some ways it's going incredibly quickly. Hopefully we're on our way out of this thing. Everyone's doing the right thing by the looks of things. Numbers are going the right direction. So keep isolating, keep exercising, most importantly to keep yourself centered, happy and able to look after those people around you. Today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to do a couple of almost like testing, but we're going to do a couple of exercises to failure. So this is really a way of checking where your fitness is at in a couple of different exercises, or where your strength is at. And then in another couple of weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, 4 weeks' time, I'd like you to try this again and just see how you've progressed in that particular area. So the first thing we're going to do, just to get things kicked off and get our body moving, is 100 squats. So which sounds like a big number, it really isn't. We don't have to do them particularly fast. I want you to get through the 100. So remembering our squat form, bum comes back first. Imagine you're holding onto some shopping. You're trying to slam the car door closed behind you as you're carrying your shopping inside. That should always be your first movement in a squat. So bum comes back, coming down. Your knees shouldn't go over your toes. Physiologically, some people's knees will go slightly forward to their toes, but ideally think about keeping them back there is going to help you keep that form right. Trying to keep your body up as high as possible, up sort of upright rather than leaning forward. And arms out will help you do that. So 100 squats. So you can do them in lots of 10 if you like. Get through a 10, shake the legs out a bit, get through another 10. You'll have 100 done before you know it. I'm going to get you to press pause on your video while you do those 100 squats, either by yourself or with your workout buddies in the room with you. And then we're going to come back. We're going to try a couple of other things as well once you're warm. And welcome back. Wow, that was fast. Well done, guys. Now, the couple other things we want to do. Legs are a bit toasted at the moment after that, but you are warm. Heart rate's been up there. We're just going to move on to our push-ups. So we're going to start with everyone starting on their toes. So even if you've never done one push-up on your toes before, now's the time to start. So we're going to start down. Let's go all the way down to the ground. So make sure your hands are in line with your chest, thumbs are in line with your nipples. Dig the toes into the ground and can squeeze your butt so your legs, your thighs should lift up off the ground. So everything's nice and tight. Engage those hands, turn the fingers slightly in to engage the chest and push up from there. So there you go, you're up on your toes, lowering down on your toes, chest all the way to ground, come all the way down. So you're lying down, but those legs are still engaged, your thighs should be just off the floor still, and push up again. So that's the that's the really good push-up form that we want. What I want you to do is to get through as many of those as you can until you literally can't get yourself off the floor anymore. If it's only one, that's fine. If it's 20, 30, 40, fantastic. What you're trying to do is find your personal level and where you get to the point where you come down and you just can't get off the ground anymore. At that point, drop your knees, and this time keep your knees down. So knees down, continue though, so everything's engaged, toes are still dug into the ground, not in the air, pushing through. So I want you to go then through as many push-ups as you can get through with your knees on the ground. So if you've done a bunch on your toes, you should be able to get through another bunch more on your knees. Make a note somewhere of how many you were able to get through before you had to drop your knees, and then how many you're able to get through when you're on your knees. So we're going to failure, to the point where your arms just will not push you anymore. So don't throw in a rest there. If it's a 1 or 2 second pause as you're pushing up just as part of your form, that's great. Once you get to 4 or 5 seconds and you haven't got off, then call it quits. So that's the end of that one. So that again is really just to test that strength through your push-ups, see how you're progressing. We'll check it again in 3 or 4 weeks time and see how far you've come. Now the other one we want to do to check with our strength is the calf raises. So you'll want a wall or something to balance on here, ideally. In this case I'm going to start on my right foot. So my left foot, it's really just there for balance. Tippy toe can touch the ground or it can be off the ground altogether. And I'm going to raise up on that calf. So see that heels come up off the ground and back down, up on the calf, back down, up on the calf, up on the toes, sorry, and back down. So you're working the calf up and down, nice steady movement. Now what you're trying to do with those, you're going to failure again, or until you get to 30. So I don't need to go past 30. There's a bunch of studies that have come out over the last couple of years that show if you can do 30 of those calf raises on each leg, so ballerinas, for example, who get injured regularly because of how far they push their bodies and how lean they are at the time they do that, they do get a lot of calf injuries. Those ballet dancers whose strength work really worked into their calves and meant that they could do 30 of those on each leg, something like 50-60% reduction in the amount of injuries that they get through everyday dancing because they've done so much work on strengthening those calves. So a lot of the exercises we're going to be doing and have been doing are about building leg strength, building muscle strength that enable you to do a whole bunch of other things in everyday life without getting injured. This is a really good test on your calf strength stuff. So if you can get to 30, that's fantastic. So you would have as many as you can on your right leg, up to 30, then switch over straight away to your left leg, same again. So you're keeping that leg straight, raising up and down, just coming up till you're basically not on your tippy toes, but on that front part of your foot, heels right up. You really feel it engage into your calf. The first 5 or 6, 7, 8 might feel okay, then it's going to start building up. But you want to try and get up to 30 if you can. Other way to do those is if you've got a little plate, like a bench weight that we talked about earlier in the week, or even a solid book that you can do that on, just to make sure that when you come down, you can go a little bit past the horizontal end with the heel, not all the way past, but just a little bit past, and that makes sure you're going through the full range of movement, so your heel would come down a little bit below and back up again. So that's our testing on that one done. We've got one more to do, which is in our sit-ups. So as I said, slightly different set today. It's a little bit shorter, although the 100 squats at the front, if you got through them, means that you're probably already about 10 minutes in by now. So our sit-ups, again, we're going to failure. Again, you're making a note of these. So we're going to start with our standard sit-up. Hands are on thighs, coming up to wrists are over knees, and back down. So I want you going regular pace. Heels have to stay on the ground, hands stay on your legs. So as many as you can until you get to the point where you can't get up past your knees anymore. So your wrists won't get up to the knees. At that point, you can start rowing. So use your hands to get you up there. So you row and throw yourself forward to help get you up. So rowing will just give you a little bit more momentum. And then when you can't get any further up with those, so you get to here, then you can start praying. So see how many more you can get. So your hands are above your head, you throw them forward. So again, that just gives you that extra momentum that'll help get you up there. And how many of those you can go until again you get to the point where you just can't get any further, or your feet are coming right off the ground, and that's where you call it quits. So again, make a note how many you got through in that strict form to start with, how many with the row, how many with the pray, and make a note of those. We're going to come back and revisit them again in 3 or 4 weeks' time, see how you're progressing. So that's all I wanted to do today, guys. Just give you a couple of different things to think about, a few different things to try. You might want to test yourself on those every couple of days, just see how you can progress, see how you can get through. It also shows you, for those of you who did the ladder with us a while back, where we got through push-ups, squats, sit-ups, and we did 1 with a breath, 2 with a breath, 3 with a breath, all the way up to 10 back down. By the time you've done that, you've done 100 of each of those exercises. Most of you, I imagine, who tried to get through 100, you wouldn't have got through 100 push-ups in a row then, or 100 sit-ups. So it does show that the benefit of really breaking that up, having the rest, still doing it with good form, you get the same overall benefit. But it is good every now and then to test yourself and see how many you can get through in a chunk. It is a combination of strength and endurance that you're looking at there. So hope you enjoyed some of that. Hope you got a little bit out of it that you didn't know before. Go away, have a bit of a break, head back to work. I'll see you again tomorrow for Dance for Fridays. Have a great one, guys.